Hey everyone, James is here. Today, we're going to be looking at some expensive Thomas Wooden Railway items. These items are consistently placed at high prices, and people tend to pay those high prices. Now, an item doesn't necessarily have to be rare to be considered expensive, it just depends on the demand for the item. For example, Donald and Douglas. The Scottish twins were first put on shelves back in 1993 when the Wooden Railway brand started, and weren't discontinued until 2010. That's a pretty damn long time when you consider the fact that Donald and Douglas's appearances in the show started to dwindle around 2004, and then they entirely disappeared in 2008. So that begs the question, why are they so expensive? Well, there's a few reasons. Reason number one, last I checked, Donald and Douglas are fan favorites, so naturally the Scotty fanboys are gonna want toys of them. Reason number two, it doesn't matter that they were sold for a long time, the price and demand is gonna go up over time, and there's nothing you can do about it. Reason number three, after 7 years, Donald and Douglas finally made another appearance in the show in the special Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. So of course, people expected Mattel to make toys of Donald and Douglas to promote the special. They did, but not in Wooden Railway. So once again, the demand for Wooden Railway Donald and Douglas increased. Okay, real talk, Donald and Douglas aren't as expensive as some of the other items that I'm going to be showing off in this video, but I just want to get something straight before we begin. There is absolutely nothing wrong with paying high prices for something that you and only you want. Let me say that again. You. It's your money. It's your decision. Don't let anybody tell you that you overpaid for something that you decided on your own will to buy. You set your own standards and your own limits. If you think something's too expensive, just don't buy it. It's not that hard. Don't bitch about it on Twitter. That solves nothing. All it does is cause unnecessary drama that shouldn't even exist in the first place. If you want to buy a Whiteface for $500, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. It's not my problem. You had the balls and the commitment, and now you own something that you really want. The same thing applies for selling items too. If you think something's worth $50, then sell it for $50. Someone out there might buy it. And if anyone tells you you've overpriced it, just ignore it. It's not worth fighting back. Alright, with that out of the way, let's talk about some expensive Thomas items. Keep in mind, I own none of these, so anything I say about the item is just from a JPEG or PNG point of view. Alright, first up is Henry's Tunnel. This item's demand makes perfect sense. For one, it was only sold for about 3 years, from 1996 to 1999, and it was also in a set called Come Out Henry that was only sold in 1998. Secondly, this item is very useful if you're a Thomas Wooden Railway remake YouTube channel. Imagine the views you'd get on your Sad Story of Henry remake. But there's one eensy teeny little bitty tiny problem. You would need 2 of these. And some people out there actually do have 2 of them. So congrats to them. And also, it's just a really cool item. Like, look at it. Like, look, just look at it. It's really cool. So with all those factors combined, of course this item's really expensive nowadays. Currently, the cheapest one on eBay is going for a whopping $130. Next up, the Flying Scotsman. Just by looking at him, you could probably guess why he's so expensive. For one, he's based on a real engine, which real train fanatics are going to go crazy about. Second, the item was already pretty expensive when it was sold originally. Like, just look at him, he's a long boy, he's got 2 tenders. He was also only sold for about 4 years, but then they re-released him later, but then discontinued him again. Twice. It's crazy because even one singular tender from the Flying Scotsman can go for a lot. Currently, the cheapest Flying Scotsman on eBay is going for $100. Okay, everyone talks about the Whiteface. Whiteface this, Whiteface that, but I don't see many people talking about its brother, the Troublesome Brake Van, which in my opinion is a way cooler item. It's not as expensive as the Whiteface, but if you want one of your own, you're still gonna have to shell out a lot of money. Now, why is this item so expensive? It's just a box with a face. Well, that's the beauty of it. Since it's only a box with a face, it can literally be anything. Seriously, there's no way to check inside of it, so it's not like you can prove that it's something else. Currently, the cheapest one on eBay is going for $135. Alright, those are all the expensive items I'm going to talk about today. If you want to see a part 2 to this, make sure to hit that like button. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And leave a comment down below with suggestions for what items I should put in that possible part 2. Alright, that's it. See ya. Well, you guys wanted it, and now you shall receive. Here is part 2 to expensive Thomas Wooden Railway items. But before we start, I want to give a quick little update. Now, if you've been watching my channel recently, you would know that 2 of the items I talked about in my last video are now in my possession. Those being the Flying Scotsman and the Troublesome Brake Van. And I think I got them both for a pretty good price. All it takes is a lot of patience. If you wait just like me, there's a chance that one day in the future, you might get a good deal too. That's the lesson today, folks. Patience is a virtue. So it never hurts to take a little time to see. Okay, enough with the sappy shit. Let's just get to the video. First up are the express coaches. Now, my question is, why in the hell were these discontinued? What was the point? They're some of the most needed items in anyone's collection. And it's not like they weren't in the show anymore. They're literally probably one of the most prevalent pieces of rolling stock in the entire series. Anyways, since the express coaches were discontinued in 2011, the price for them has been steadily increasing over time. They don't cost that much compared to other expensive Thomas Wooden Railway items, but the fact that they were on store shelves for over 10 years made me want to put this on the list. If you want an express coach in your collection, you're going to have to pay upwards of $30 to $40, maybe $25 if you're lucky. Now, if you thought those coaches were expensive, let me tell you, you haven't seen nothing, because there's also the mail coaches. The mail coaches were sold for an even shorter amount of time than the express coaches, and because of that, they're a lot more expensive nowadays. Weirdly enough though, mail coaches aren't as needed as express coaches, so at first, I didn't think they would have that much different of a price. I was dead wrong. If you want one of these, you're gonna have to pay like $60. But I'm not done talking about the mail coaches yet. There's also the version that came with a Hard at Work Percy. And that one's even more expensive. It was sold for only 1 year and was a part of the lead paint crisis. If you want one of these, expect to pay like $70 or more. Next up is Boko. Oh, I love Boko. Boko's so cool. The reason Boko is so expensive is, like I said in my last video about Donald and Douglas, he's a fan favorite character. And we all should know by now that fan favorite characters plus a discontinuation equals expensive prices. It's not that hard to find Bokos in the wild, but it is a little bit harder to find them for a decent price. If you don't care about the cost and you just really want a Boko, I wouldn't buy any Bokos higher than $50. But if you want to wait a little bit for a cheaper one, you can find Bokos around the $30 or $40 range. Okay, so I've talked about this next item time and time again on my channel, but I just couldn't help putting it in this video. That's right, I'm talking about the Sawmill and Dumping Depot. Now, I want you to guess why this item is expensive. I'll give you a few seconds. This thing is Gigantinosaurus. It was expensive when it first came out, it's still expensive now, and it's just really cool. When I get this one day, I'm gonna be so freaking happy. But when buying one, expect to pay upwards of $150 or more. Alright, here's another item I actually own, the double wide old iron bridge. This thing is sick. It's basically a Sodor Bay bridge, but instead of being blue with only one track, it's red and has 2 tracks. This item was only sold for about 4 years, so if you want one, get ready to pay insane prices. Thankfully, I got mine for a little bit cheaper than it usually is, but if you want one for your own, they can sometimes go for $200 or more. but if you're lucky, you can get one for under $200, maybe around the $150 range, or even $125, who knows? Alright, the next item we're going to talk about is a suggestion from ADSD Vids. Side note, his channel is pretty cool, check it out. He suggested a few items, but the one that caught my eye the most was introducing James. Now obviously this James is based off his livery in the second Railway series book, and it was released alongside The Adventure Begins, which retells those stories. Since The Adventure Begins is a very popular special in the community, of course this item's gonna be a little bit expensive, but no, it's not a little bit expensive, it's a lot of bit expensive. If you want one of these in good condition, get ready to pay like $100. Alright, it's time for the expensive Thomas Wooden Railway items quiz show. I'm gonna say a random Thomas Wooden Railway item, and you have to tell me whether or not you think it's expensive. Say yes if you think it is, say no if you think it's not. Good luck. The over-the-track signal. No, not really. Bell. Yep. Mavis. No. Trevor. The pedestrian bridge. Duh. So that was the quiz. How many points did you get? If you say 5, you're a fucking liar. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below suggestions for if I make a part 3 to this. And yeah, see you guys later. Well, you guys really outdid yourselves this time. I'm impressed. Like, seriously. Damn. You guys really wanted part 3, didn't you? Hey guys, James is here. For this installment, I thought it would be interesting if I looked at some suggestions from the comment section of the previous 2 episodes. First up we have, oh wait, that's not a suggestion. Okay, a lot of you guys commented saying that I didn't mention the Knapford Express coaches in the previous episode. Well, don't worry, I have a perfectly good explanation for why. I forgot. The Knapford Express coach was released at the start of the range in 1993 and was discontinued once the normal express coaches started being produced in 1998. So basically, the Knapford Express coach is just a more rare version of the regular express coach, which means to get one, you might have to sell a kidney. As I'm writing the script for this video, the cheapest one on eBay is almost $60 in total. And it isn't even in that good of a condition. The cheapest one that's actually in good condition is almost $100 in total, and for a 93 model, $350 in total. The Knapford Express coach must have some really comfy seats. Okay, next is, oh what the f***, that's a lot of suggestions. Well, some of the items listed here can be pretty expensive sometimes, so I guess I'll talk about them. Ada, Jane, and Mabel were only in stores for about 2 years, from 1997 to 1999. Combined with the fact that these 3 coaches only appeared in the Railway series and probably didn't sell very well because of it, these items are pretty rare nowadays. The cheapest listing I could find of them on eBay is over $100, like, whoa. Hey, do you guys remember how I talked about Henry's Tunnel in the first episode of this series? Here's a clip to refresh your memory. Alright, first up is Henry's Tunnel. This item's demand makes perfect sense. For one, it was only sold for about 3 years, from 1996 to 1999, and it was also in a set called Come Out Henry that was only sold in 1998. Well, here's the Come Out Henry set. It's pretty expensive on its own, but people don't want the set just for Henry's Tunnel. Most of the time, what they really want is Sad Face Henry. This variant of Henry was never sold separately, so you had to buy the set to get him. And since the set was only in stores for a year, you could probably guess that it's pretty expensive. The cheapest one I could find is almost $150. Haha! Look, right there! It's the Knapford Express coach! This was actually the only set it was featured in, another reason why it is so rare. Next, let's talk about the 100-piece set, which is so rare that I couldn't even find one on eBay. The 100-piece set was actually sold for quite a long time, being eventually replaced by a Magic Railroad themed set. The only reason it's so rare and expensive today is that, well, it was already expensive enough when it was originally sold in stores. Its original retail price was $300. Probably because it came with a play table when it first came out, but some versions actually removed the play table and made it less money, but it was still expensive, so expect to pay that much and possibly even more if you want this set now. Alright, I gotta mention the red metallic James. Like, I just gotta. I can't skip over it, especially since I actually have it in my possession, and I just love it so much. Seriously, I can't get over this thing. It looks so cool. Anyways, this item was only sold in Japan, making it pretty rare. I didn't pay a whole lot for mine, but if you want one of your own, you're probably gonna need to pay a lot more than I did. The cheapest one on eBay currently, that's in actually good condition, is about $150, so make sure to save up your money if you want one. Alright, before the video ends, I want to talk about a different kind of expensive Thomas Wooden Railway item. It's not any item in specific, it actually pertains to the year that the item was released. Now all of you wooden railway experts out there already know this, but to anyone new that's starting out, remember, the older your item is, the more value it has. The best way to know when your item was released is to look at the dates on the wheels, but for 1993 and 1992 items, they'll have staples on the bottom. For any item released beyond 2003, check for the factory stamp at the bottom. And one final thing, be careful on eBay, because people will try to scam you. If the listing says the item's from 1993, that doesn't automatically mean it's actually from 1993. Alright, those were some more expensive wooden railway items. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Oh shoot, I forgot to mention the rarest Thomas Wooden Railway item of all time, Thomas! Hey guys, it's James here, and I just recently obtained one of the rarest Thomas Wooden Railway items ever. And no, it's not a white face. No, wait, what are you doing? Don't click off! This item may not be as rare as the white face, but it's still pretty rare. And most of the time when you do see ones on eBay, they go for absolutely insane prices. But I was able to pick one up for about 85 Canadian dollars including shipping, which may seem like a lot, but remember, these are the prices this item usually goes for. So this was basically a steal. Also, funny story, you guys know my old pal Steve the Weave. Well, he actually had this item in his watch list, and when he found out that I was the one who bought it, he was pretty mad. Just look at this angry tweet. This was in my watch list! This tweet was actually posted after I had told him in a Discord call about it, so I actually got to hear his anger as well. Anyways, I bet you're all dying to know what item it is. Well, you could just go on my Twitter to see if you haven't already, but if you haven't and you want to be completely surprised, well then get ready. Here it is, the box with probably now the rarest Thomas item I own in it. Let's get this open. Nah, these are pussy scissors. Here we go, here's the better scissors. Let's get this box open. Alright. Alright. Ho ho ho. Alright, the box is now opened. Let's take this bubble wrap off. Alright, there it is. I can see it in there. I'm not going to take it out just yet. You know what? I'm going to stop withholding the inevitable. I'm just going to reach in there and grab it and pull it out and show you guys. Here we go. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't believe it! Oh my god, it's Thomas! The rarest Thomas item ever of all time! It's Thomas! No, I'm kidding. What I'm really talking about is this. Now, some of you may not even know what this even is. This is the double wide old iron bridge. So it's basically the Sodor Bay Bridge, but instead of one track, it's wider and it has 2 tracks on the bridge. And also it's red, which makes it even cooler because, well, red's my favorite color, so automatically I like it more than the regular Sodor Bay Bridge. Well, anyways, see you guys.